Well, hey guys, it's Krista Watson here from Krista Quilts, and today I'm excited to talk to you about my trip to QuiltCon 2023 that took place in Atlanta, Georgia. It was such a fabulous trip. For those of you that have never been to QuiltCon before, you've got to add it to your bucket list, especially if you enjoy modern quilts or are curious about this aesthetic. It's totally my favorite. So I basically I was there from Wednesday through Sunday of the show, and I went a couple days ahead of time to get ready, and then I stayed an extra day after the show. Now, it took place in Atlanta, Georgia, and fortunately I have family there, so I was able to have helpers help me out, because let me tell you, being a vendor was a whole lot of work. I'll share some behind the scenes videos of my booth and some of the quilts from the show in just a minute, but I want to give you my overall impressions. First of all, it was just amazing. It was amazing. The quilts and the people and the inspiration and just being a part of it all is just so much fun. Now, being a vendor meant that I had to go ahead of time and set up my booth and bring lots of items to sell. But the most exciting part about being a vendor was meeting with so many people in person. I was basically on my feet in the booth for 4 days, and it was nonstop talking and giggling and fun. And it's amazing that I didn't lose my voice the whole time. Now, what's interesting about this show is it's kind of smaller than like International Quilt Festival, but it's much more social, and it's also much more shared online. So it seems like a bigger event, and maybe socially it's a bigger event. This particular QuiltCon in Atlanta, it was actually set up on 3 floors. On the bottom floor were vendors and some of the special exhibit quilts. On the second floor was another row of vendors, a big area, lots of vendors, and that's where I was, plus some more special event or some of the special exhibits, quilts. And then on the third floor was all quilts, like all quilts by category. So what everybody was saying about the show, having it split up on different floors, made it much easier to walk the show because you could split up on which floor you were going to. You could remember where you'd been. It didn't seem so overwhelming. So good job, Modern Quilt Guild. I think that's really cool. It also seemed bigger than in previous years. Now, I've gone to every single QuiltCon from the beginning back in 2013, and it was really fun to see that it was really well attended, much better attended than last year in Phoenix when we were just coming off the pandemic. And it had an air of just jovialness about it. Everybody was talking, everybody was laughing and hugging and making friends. And like I said, it's a very social show. So that was really cool. Me being in my booth, I basically talked for 4 days. And the interesting thing is, so Wednesday was the setup. Thursday and Friday were the busiest days of the show. And those were the days where people that knew who I was, they came to seek me out. So I literally was talking the entire time. Saturday was a little bit slower, and this was more what I call wanderers, maybe people that hadn't been to my area of the show yet, people that didn't know who I was. And so that was fun because I got to explain who I was, what I was about, kind of demonstrate my products. And then Sunday of the show was the slowest day because a lot of people by then had gone home. It was really nice though for me on Sunday because I was finally able to leave the booth and I was able to go and look at the quilts. Now, fortunately, I had my daughter with me the entire time, and so she was able to man the booth when I needed to go get something to eat. We would tag team. She would go look at the quilts, I'd run the booth, and then I was able to leave her in charge of the booth, which was so much fun. So one of the most fun things about me being at the show, like I said, is people would come up and they would talk to me. And so many of you guys who watch my YouTube videos came up to me and said, "Oh, I love your videos, keep doing them." And, you know, I get comments and I can see my stats and I can see that people are enjoying my videos. But just having people come up to me in person and telling me how much they enjoyed this or that video, that was just like a breath of fresh air. So I am going to work my hardest to try to do videos on a regular basis. The goal is to do them every week. Reality, maybe they'll be every 2 weeks. You know, maybe a couple times I'll get lucky and do them back to back. I'm still working on publishing them at a set date and time. That kind of varies, but you know, I'm getting better with each one. But again, talking with so many of you, sharing your stories, people coming up and showing me quilts they made with my fabric, you just can't beat that. It was amazing. You know, and speaking of people talking to each other, back when I went to the first QuiltCon in 2013, I didn't know anyone, and I literally came home from that show with so many friends, and I still feel that now. There's lots of people that I met for the first time. There's lots of my online friends that I was able to reconnect with and have little fun one-on-one conversations. And one of the most poignant moments that I loved is my friend Frances from the Off Kilter Quilt. She does a podcast. Anyway, she's an author, and my daughter is going back to college. She wants to become a dramatic writer. And so Frances came over to my booth, chatted with my daughter for about a half an hour, talking about what it's like to get your work published and how you can have a career. And I just thought that was so special that she would take her time out to do that. So just one of many special moments I had at the show. And my other big takeaway, whenever I go to the show, I am so inspired to make modern quilts. Now, many of you give me a great compliment, and a lot of you guys say, oh, I really like your version, Krista's version of modern quilts. And the reason why that is because my quilts tend to be on a little more of the traditional end of the modern spectrum, what you would call modern traditional. And I absolutely love making them. However, whenever I go to QuiltCon, I want to push my boundaries. I want to explore. I want to really make interesting quilts that don't necessarily have to be for a pattern or a class or a deadline. So I kind of came home with two thoughts. I thought, you know what? Number one, I'm still going to make the quilts that you guys love that are very simple and geometric and interesting, and they show off my fun fabrics. And those are going to be my commercial quilts. Those are the ones that I pattern and I showcase my fabrics. But I also want to make some push the envelope quilts. These are what I call the runway quilts, the ones that I'm not going to pattern, the ones that I might enter into quilt shows. I'll still share the making of them, but I'm not worried about reconstructing them or trying to make that into a class. So I'm going to make both types of quilts. Basically what I call the runway quilts that are kind of pushing the boundaries, maybe experimental, and then my ready to wear quilts, which are going to be patternable, and they're going to be made for my fabrics, and they're going to showcase all those traditional elements that you guys know and love. But I think by doing both types of quilts, it's going to bring balance to what I'm making, and it's going to really fulfill me and just allow me to have fun continuing to explore this great hobby that I love so much. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the videos that I shared during the show, showing my booth, as well as some of my favorite quilts from the show. Hey guys, it's Krista Watson here from Krista Quilts, and today is Wednesday setup day at QuiltCon. I just got to my booth. I've got stuff everywhere. I am in booth 2508, which is near the concession stand, and right behind me is the demo area. This is the before, where it's a little bit of chaos, and then later when the booth is all beautiful and set up, I'll take another video. But I just want to let you know I'm here. I'm at QuiltCon. I am so excited to hang out with everyone all weekend. I'm in my booth and the show is just about ready to open. So I thought I would tell you what I'm going to be doing in my booth today for those of you that want to stop by booth 2508. So today I'm going to be doing a lot of demos talking about my notions. I've got some videos that I prepared. I've got some little samples. We can talk in person and I can answer all your questions. I really want to highlight my batting scissors. These are amazing. These batting shears cut through batting like butter. I'm also going to be showing my gloves, and I will have one of each of my notions open so that people can try on the gloves, they can test out the scissors. I also have a very comfortable rotary cutter, and so you can try out the rotary cutter, see how it works. And I also have a couple other things. I have a little mini mat set and a crease marker, and so I'm going to kind of demo and talk about what I use these for to make machine quilting easier. For those of you at home who are not here in QuiltCon, all of the products that I have in my booth are available online on my website. I've got all of my books, my patterns, all of my fabrics I've designed for Benartex, and you can get all of those things in addition to my notions at shop.kristaquilt.com. Now, for those of you coming by the booth, I have some freebies for you, and you don't even have to buy anything. You can stop by and say hi to me. I've got a nice full basket of chocolate. I know we need chocolate with our quilting. And I have my really cute Krista Quilt stickers. Now, those of you at home that are not here, you can get my stickers with any purchase from my website. Just include a note, send me stickers, and I'll include a couple of these guys with your next order. So anyway, I hope to share more highlights throughout the show. Today I'll pretty much be in my booth all day long, so stop by 2508. And for those of you checking out QuiltCon at home, make sure you follow the QuiltCon hashtag for more inspiration. Hope you guys have a great day and a great week. Ta-ta for now. Good morning, QuiltCon. It's Krista Watson from Krista Quilts, and today I thought I would introduce you to my booth neighbors. I'm in booth 2508, and this is the first time vending, and yesterday, the first day of the show, was fantastic, but come and meet some friends. Right next to me is Rosanna Diggs Embroidery, and she does the most adorable hand embroidery kits. Is that right?
Yeah.
So Rosanna, here, come closer. I got my daughter being the camera down here.
Hello.
So now you have vended at QuiltCon before, right?
Yes.
So what's like the vibe of the show? Are people like, what do people like to buy?
You know, the show is electric. And honestly, it's so busy, I don't get out of my booth, so I can't tell you what else they're buying.
Well, what do they like to buy from you?
From me, oh gosh, let's see. Yesterday, our family flower garden was a huge hit. It always is. Our pineapple was a big hit. And Orcas is one of our new ones. It's been, it's fun to see that it's a hit coast to coast, because it was a hit in Texas, it's a hit here, it's pretty great.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
Well, we've gotten to know each other. We knew each other first online, and now we're neighbors, which means now we're besties, right?
Yeah.
'Cause that's what you do when you go to these
Fiber
shows.
friends.
Yay. All right, well, have a great show,
You too.
and we'll chat at the end.
Yeah.
All right, let's go the other side, and I'll show you who's on my other side. Come, come, come. So this is kind of the calm before the storm, before the show opens. Everybody's frantically getting all their booths together. Over here, we have the lovely Carolyn Friedlander. Many of you guys know her. She is one of those people that's been the mover and shaker. You were like the keynote at QuiltCon. What year was that?
Oh my gosh.
I know, I'm putting her on the spot.
Some
it's
year.
Like, it's like naming your children or your quilt. But yeah, several
It was a
years
few
ago.
years ago, yeah.
Yeah, several years ago, and I was like a newbie to QuiltCon, and every time I run into Carolyn, she's just so nice and genuine. And if you guys don't know her yet, get to know her. So Carolyn, what are you showing in your booth today?
Well, this morning at 11, we're doing a hand quilting demo. So today is a little bit of, that's a small focus this morning.
That's
we only have a
awesome.
little bit of thread left and some of the tools, so we thought we'd do that today.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And she's on this lovely end cap, so there's lots of room to come by. Now, is this your first time vending at QuiltCon?
Yeah, first time.
Yeah, me too. And how did yesterday, the first day
Oh my
go?
gosh, it was so busy. But
Yeah.
we made it through. How about you?
Yeah, same
Super
thing.
fun.
We were
Yeah.
exhausted by the end of the day. So anyway,
Yeah.
have another fabulous day at the
Thanks.
show.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for always being so kind.
Oh, yeah.
And more than anything, her fabrics are fabulous. Her patterns are great. I just love Carolyn. She's awesome.
thanks,
so
Krista.
anyway, well, everybody have a great day and just keep watching. Check out the QuiltCon hashtag for more fun. Well, I hope you enjoyed that virtual show. If you weren't able to be there, be sure to make plans to attend QuiltCon 2024. I believe it's going to be held in Raleigh, North Carolina. I will be there for sure in some capacity. I always go and I wear different hats. Sometimes I teach, sometimes I volunteer. This year I tried vending, but it is on my list every year. It's always in February, and it is just a highlight, something I really look forward to. Now, if there's a special event that you love going to every year, make sure you let me know and leave me a comment. Chances are I might be going to that event. Now that it's 2023 and things are in full bloom here, I am traveling, I am going out on a regular basis, and I couldn't be more thrilled. The pandemic and the isolation at home taught me that I really do need to be among people. There's nothing like that face-to-face connection. So if I'm able to see you at a future event, come up, give me a hug, chat quilting with me. It really makes my day. Until next time, happy quilting.